Welcome to Fitzy's Fabulous Scrapbooks. I'm Michelle Fitzgerald, aka Fitzy, and I'm an independent advisor for Creative Memory Scrapbooking, and I'm here to help you make your scrapbooks fabulous. And you can see my little dog right there roaming around. So tonight I'm going to be doing a new plus sign design technique. I'm very excited to share it with you. Hold on one second. I might have to move my dog. Are you good? Okay, she's good. All right. Before I forget though, and I'm afraid I'll forget if I wait till the end of the video, but I just want to remind everybody, or maybe this is the first time you're going to be hearing this, but Creative Memories is offering free shipping on orders of $80 or more starting tomorrow. And that will last for, I think, about a week or so. So just wanted to put that out there. If there's something you want, or maybe you're getting a little low on adhesive or pages, now's the time to stock up when there's free shipping. All right, so that starts tomorrow, and I believe it starts around 1 p.m. Eastern time. So I think Central time would be about noon time. All right, so just wanted to put that out there. And like I said, I'll probably forget to mention it at the end. So I figured I'd do it in the beginning. All right, so now what I'm going to do is get down to my workspace here, and we're going to get started on this cool little sketch. So the sketch I'm going to be doing is coming from the 110 Scrapbooking Ideas and Sketches book. And I'm going to be working on the sketch that's on page 62 in the book. All right, so it is this right here. Get that up nice and close. So as you can see, there's a lot of different papers here, and it's really just scraps, right? You don't need full sheets of paper pretty much. I love a layout that lets me use up my scraps. That makes me so happy. So what I did here is I used up my scraps from what I had left of the Polar Lights collection, okay? So as you can see, there's a lot of pretty blues and greens, so you know this is one of my favorites. But I just love how the navy cardstock helps the whole thing just kind of jump off the page and get noticed, right? So keep that in mind. It's nice to have papers that'll contrast with each other in a layout like this, okay? So tonight, what we're going to do is, well, what I'm doing is I'm using a new collection, and let me look it up to get the correct name. Oh boy, where did I leave that cover sheet? Let's see. It is called Passport to Adventure. So up here in Massachusetts, it's a rather chilly night tonight. It was chilly all day today. And so it got me thinking about my winter collections and whatnot. So that's why I chose to create my sample in Polar Lights and to use up some of the scraps I had left for that. And now I'm thinking, I think I'd rather be somewhere warmer. So why don't I create a layout so I can go somewhere warm and come back and have a layout to put pictures on. And it just so happens that in about a week and a half or so, I'll be traveling south to Naples, Florida. So with that in mind, I'm going to create a travel layout. And the sketch is perfect for me to do that. So what you're going to need to create from the sketch, when I do a plus sign design, I always use my zero centering ruler and a pencil, okay? I also will need my repositionable tape runner, which will be very handy. You may or may not need your scissors for this one, but I always have them handy. and I always have my multi-purpose tool handy. And I guess the big thing is you will need your 12-inch trimmer. That is a must for this layout. All right, so let's start with our plus sign first, and then we'll move into, oh, and while I think of it, you're going to need scraps, just strips. So if you have 7 1-inch by 10-inch strips and 6 3/4 of an inch by 10-inch strips, so that's 0.75 by 10 inches. All right. So again, 1 full inch strip, and you need 7 of those by 10 inches long. And then these are 10 inches long, excuse me, and they're only 3/4 of an inch wide. All right, 0.75. Just like to be clear on the measurements. So now what I'm going to do, I photocopied the sketch from the book just so I could work outside of the book a little bit. And I'm just going to line up my 0 centering ruler, and I'm going to use it to help me find the center of the sketch going top to bottom and side to side. So I'm going to put a line just to mark it where I think the 0 mark is. So that'll be my vertical line. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the side. So let me just get up here. And I think that looks pretty close. And it doesn't have to be exact. We just want to get in the ballpark to get a feel for where things are going to lie on the page. Now, I have found this technique to be really helpful with sketches that don't have any form of measurement on them. And again, it's not to give me any exact measurements, but it's just to get me to a place where I can figure out just how I want to cut my paper. All right. So that's all you'll need your pencil and your 0 centering ruler for. And actually, now I'm just going to kind of go through the sketch. And so what I already notice about this is a frame. And the frame looks to me to be about 1/4 of an inch. So I'm just going to write down that that's 1/4 of an inch frame. So if that's 1/4 of an inch, so 1/4 at the top and 1/4 at the bottom, that's 1/2 inch off the vertical side. Same thing here. It's 1/4 inch on this side and 1/4 inch on that side. So that's 1/2 inch on the side. So basically my second paper here, I'm going to cut down to make it an 11.5 inch square. All right. So what I'm creating on tonight, I am using again my navy cardstock as the real base. And then I'm using this grid pattern from the Passport collection. I like it because it's a real tonal, and the other colors I think will kind of jump off the page with this as a background. So before I do anything else, I'm going to go ahead and open up my arm on my trimmer. And I'm going to make an 11.5 inch square from a 12 by 12 piece of paper. All right, so, and to do that, I line up at the 11.5 inch mark and I cut. So a 1/2 inch comes off one side, and then I rotate 1 turn, line up to the 11.5 inch mark again. And now I'm taking a 1/2 inch off the other side. And this will get me a nice, even 11.5 inch square. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and take my tape runner and just attach that. Now I did go ahead and cut my strips. I had lots of different little pieces of paper hanging around. But you'll notice I didn't want to take up all my time on the video cutting the strips. I'd rather just teach you the technique. Because I'm pretty sure you can all cut your strips, right? All right, so see that nice border? Already this page is jumping off of that cardstock, right? Because of that beautiful contrast. So I'm going to put that over to the side for now because we don't need it right now because we're still going to figure things out on our sketch here. Now, when I was looking at the sketch, and keep in mind, most sketches can be used for whatever size page you're working on, as long as it's an even number. So like an 8x8 page, a 12x12 page. I haven't really tried it on a different size, but I know it works well for 8x8 and it works phenomenally well for 12x12. Okay. So when I'm working with the 12x12 page, once I've created my plus sign, now I have 4 quadrants here. So I'm just going to number 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I know that each quadrant is a 6x6 inch square. 6 inches this way, 6 inches that way. So 6 inches horizontal, 6 inches vertical. And that's true of all 4 squares or quadrants. So if I just pick a quadrant, so let me look at quadrant number 3 here. And I can see that there are some lines here. So they left some space for journaling. Then they have a little border here. I can tell all these little circles here. And then they kind of go under this photo here. That's a nice little border. And when you see something like that, really what you can do, you can use a border strip sticker, you can use a layered border, a laser cut border, you can punch a border from one of our punches. So there's a lot you can do with borders. All right. Now I'm looking here and this strip comes about, I don't know, more than halfway through the square. So I'm going to say this is about 4 inches on the strip. Okay. And that's how I figured out, because this one is just about around the 6 inch mark, a little less. So I decided to go with 10 inches long on my strips. And again, you can make it work for you. Maybe you want to do them a little bit shorter or a little bit longer, and that's fine. Remember, the sketches are here just to give us inspiration and to kind of spark, our imaginations to come up with ideas. But it doesn't mean you have to do anything exactly according to the sketch. And a lot of times I don't, but it's a great starting point. And that's what I want to get across to everybody. Okay. So if I look here, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 strips. I have 13, and I did use all 13 of mine. I think it looks here like they used different size strips. I wanted to make it easy for myself and not have to get into all this juggling. So I went with 7 1-inch strips and 6 3/4-inch strips. And here are my 3/4-inch. And here are, oops, having trouble moving these. These are my 1-inch strips, okay? And I think between those 2 sizes, that gives me a little variety on size and on patterns and colors. All right. So the only other thing that I need to figure out then is how big the photos are. Well, I know pretty sure that this is a 6.5 inch, sorry, 4.5 inches by 6.5 inches. So that's what I made the photo on here. And so the mat that I have here, so I used, this is a mat from the Variety Mat Pack. And I have a couple of pictures that I'm going to use. They're not great photos, but they're the only ones I have of a particular day that we did some skiing. So, but they're not great photos, so I don't need them to be big. So this is kind of the ideal layout for these photos. So I decided to make the big one a mat and give it a nice little title. And then I'll have my two photos here. Okay, so the mats, this mat is 4.5 by 6.5, and the mat is a 4x6 mat. Over here, my mats are 4.5 by 3.5 inches. Okay, so they line up at the top with the larger mat, but they do come below. And I don't know if you can see it too well, but maybe I can lift that a bit. But see how it ends below where this one ends. So it's not going to line up exactly with the 4.5 by 6.5 mat. And that's okay, because it just gives it a little more eye appeal and a little more interest. So don't worry about it. It's all good. All right. So now that I've explained all of that, like I said, I did pre-cut my strips just to speed things up here. So I'm going to pull my base over. And the first thing I want to do is just kind of play around with my strips and the colors. All right. So I'm just going to kind of lay them all out. And if I have duplicates of anything, I will flip one over because I can use both sides, which is great. All right. And then I'm going to pull these on. All right. And I think I decided one of these will have to be duplicate, but maybe not. I don't know. I'm gonna play with it. All right, so if I was going to use all different patterns, when I have one of those already, okay, good. So this is what it would look like, and I would have the two repeating ones being the two yellow. But I can do it however I want. So I think what I'm gonna look at first, and the nice thing is, it doesn't matter if you put the 1-inch strip first or the 3/4 inch strip first. I just want to go with how I feel it looks the best. So I'm going to start, because the background paper is so light, I want to start with a color that, is going to kind of pop it a little bit. So I'm just going to kind of oh, you know what? Maybe the green. Ooh, yeah, I like starting with the green. So before I do any adhering or anything like that, I want to make sure that I am working with just placement of where I want everything to be. I think I'm going to put this here. And this is really just about your own personal preference, what you like. All right, so I have all of these, and I actually think that the way I have the colors looks pretty cool. I like that a lot. Now, the reason why I'm using two of these is because the back of this is actually the grid paper here. All right. And I don't want to put the grid paper on top of the grid paper because that would just be silly. All right, so now that I have them all lined up, what I'm going to do to make things go a little quicker is I'm going to keep them in order, and I'm just going to go ahead and put adhesive on the side that I want to be tacked down. And I'm going to keep them in order because this will help me make it go much quicker. And is this one? Yeah. Okay. Now, if you're liking this idea, or if you like well, first of all, if you've used plus sign design on any of your pages before, I would love to know if you have used it. So please put in the comments for me if you would, whether or not you've tried it, and if you liked it, did you find it helpful? It's always good for me to get feedback on the videos that I create, so I know what helps people. I find that helpful because I'm always trying to decide what should I do next. And you can always reach out to me to let me know if you have an idea, or a technique or a layout or whatever that you're looking for information on. Let me know. Maybe I could try it out on one of my videos. You never know. I have done that before for some people. And you can always reach out to me with your ideas, by emailing me at fitzy'sfabulousscrapbooks@gmail.com. Oopsie, hold on. Okay. And you can see that that is listed right here on my workspace. So feel free to jot that down. If you're liking this video, I hope that you will hit the like button. And if you're not already a subscriber, I hope that you will subscribe to my channel. All right. So now I have adhesive on all my strips. So now it should go pretty quickly. And I'm just going to go back to my original layout here. And I don't know if you can tell on camera, but I left the base right snug on my 13-inch mat. And I started my strip 1/2 inch in according to the mat, okay? And then 1/2 inch down from the top. So 1/2 inch in and 1/2 inch down. And I just kept that going, and it stayed pretty nice and neat and straight. Don't worry about what it looks like down the bottom, because look you don't even see the bottom because my border strip covers any ugliness up, right? So that's the great thing about scrapbooking. You can hide your mistakes. All right, so let me get this nice and snug on the mat. And I'm going to have to stand up so I can get a good view. So I hope it doesn't shadow things too much, but I'm going to start 1/2 inch in and 1/2 inch down. And actually, this is kind of cool because it's grid paper, so it might make it even a little easier. And just be more concerned with how things look at the top versus how they look at the bottom. And I think I just want to move that a teeny bit. Oops, and I moved it a lot. Hold on. Oh, goodness. All right, so we're going to try this again. All right, so 1/2 inch in and 1/2 inch down. All right, and now I'm going to take my next strip, and it's going to go right up against my first strip. We're not going to layer on top. We're just going to go right up next to it, just flush against it. All right. And then we're going to do the same thing with the next strip. I like putting all the adhesive on at once because then you can just go. You don't have to wait to stop to fix it or to put the adhesive on because it's already on for you. And I like that. The colors in this palette are really, really pretty. I like how some of them are very a little muted and then others are a little brighter. It helps when you're trying to make something that you want to have a little contrast on. Now, the good thing is because I'm using repositionable tape runner, if I decide I don't like where I put something, I'll be able to pull it up and reapply it because that's what the repositionable tape runner allows me to do. And I love that. So you see how kind of fast this moves along once you get it all set up. So I think the thing that took me the longest was deciding what collection to use and then just cutting my strips. And it's not that the strips were hard to cut. It was just, you know, I had to cut 13 strips in all and I had to decide what I wanted to cut. So I feel like the decision-making process is what can hold you up a little bit, right? All right, so here I am with my last strip. All right. So it's starting to come along now. And I think, let me put this now back in the screen so we can see them both together. All right. So the next thing I think I'm going to do is go ahead and pick out a border strip to put on. And since we'll be flying, I think this would work out very nicely. So I'm going to put my little, I don't know if you saw this. It's so cute. Aren't these adorable, the little planes? And they're layered with foam squares. Super cute. All right. Oops. And again, this just covers up any little mistakes or unevenness you may have with your strips. You're not even going to know it, right? I think actually I have to move this up a little bit. Oopsie. There we go. All right. So that is good. And then I just have to decide what color mats I want. And I kind of feel like, where is, oh, here it is. I think I like this purple. So, oh, I think that's going to make nice mats. All right, I'm going to do this one. It's like a sea green kind of color. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and make my 4.5 by 6.5 inch mat. And I'm also going to make two 4.5 by 3.5 inch mats. And so I do that. I'm cutting two 4.5 inch strips. And one, I'm gonna rotate so it's horizontal on the trimmer. And I'm gonna line it up to the 3.5-inch mark once and twice. All right, so those are my two smaller mats. And I'm just gonna pull the arm out for a minute. And now I'm gonna cut at 6.5 inches. This is my second strip. And now I have my 3 mats. All right. And there's no real rhyme or reason in terms of placement. And I think that's going to work nicely. I'm going to go ahead. Back it down. All right. And let's see. Let's take some stickers. See if we can do a little embellishing. Right. Well, I love this. This says, "Adventure is calling and I must go." I love it. And I think, oh, a little camera here or there would be good. And let's see if we can find another title. Let's see. Oh, I like this. This can go down here. That's a nice, look at that. Pack your bags. I'll do it. And then a nice little camera. And I want you to notice with the embellishments, I'm creating a triangle on my page. And by doing that, it just draws your eye over the whole entire layout, which is pretty cool. All right, now I could do more with the embellishing, but I'm not going to get too crazy with it right now because I don't want the video to go on forever and ever. I try to keep them short. But then what I could do if I wanted to is just like, this would be cute. Let's travel the world, right? I like that. Let me see what else we have. Ooh, life is an adventure. I think, ooh, I like that a lot. I'm going to use that one. Love, love, love. All right. And I'm going to use, probably should have put that on before I put my sticker on, but it's okay. It's all going to work out. I have faith, right? I think I need to move that over. There we go. Oh, and I went crooked, silly me. All right. And there you have it. How cute is that, right? And not a difficult thing to create, just takes a little bit of time. Because again, like I said, you got to pick out your papers and figure out your collection and whatnot. But once you figure it out, it's super easy. A beautiful sketch, easy to create, and you have the plus sign design to tell you everything you need to know, right? So listen, we do have a free Facebook group that you can join. It's called FRQ Glitz Girls Scrapbooking Group. And we just talk a lot about scrapbooking there. And myself and two of my team members run the group. And we let you know what's new, what's being launched, when there's free shipping events, that like what's coming up now. Just wanted to let you see the planes. I just love those planes. Aren't they adorable? It's so cute. So definitely check us out in the group. You will have to answer a few questions before you're allowed to join. So don't forget to answer the questions. And if you need any Creative Memories products, please, by all means, reach out. Check out my website at www.creativememories.com/user/Michelle Fitz. All right, let me come back up to me. I gotta find me first. There we go. Hello. All right, so that is my layout for tonight. I'm so happy you all could join me tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. And now I am gonna go, I think I'm gonna go sit on my couch. Not gonna lie, I'm tired. But I'm glad you could all be here. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and bye for now.